Welcome back to Transfer Talk. It has returned. I'm back. Zach's back. The rumour mill is back. And hopefully you're joining us again too. Thank you very much for being here. Zachary, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Henry. Good, thank you. Lots of things we actually have to update on the board, I think,
we
first,
do.
to be quite honest. Let's get straight away him further down.
Yeah, Lucas Paqueta, you guys had it nailed on last week. To be fair, it did look that way. Obviously, that is collapsing. Let's get that right. I don't think it's off.
No, it's like here-ish, I reckon. Maybe even a little bit more to the right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there and just see how it goes with time.
Exactly.
Pavard on his way to Inter Milan. That's definitely not happening anymore, so we can get rid of that one. Pavard gone to Manchester United. Elise signed a new deal at Crystal Palace. I think we're going to remove that for now because we have other names coming in.
Gone. Maguire. I mean, there is still a world where West Ham can go and buy Maguire, but obviously the deal with Mavropanos looking likely. I think we'll leave it there just for this one. We'll see maybe next week whether it can be chucked off.
Tierney and Cucurella, because they've gone and signed Lewis Hall, I think that's got to go right down.
And now that they've got Lewis Hall as well, the move is probably a little bit less daunting.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Another big mover on the rumour mill this week already. I actually think João Felix to Al Hilal. I haven't heard much about that in a while.
If anything, Barca looks like that could be happening.
Yeah, so we're going to get rid of it completely?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gone.
Felix, gone from the rumour mill.
I actually think this should be coming over here a bit more. Heard nothing over it over the last couple of weeks.
I just think
it's dropped off massively.
Let us know what you guys think at home, seriously. Amrabat to Manchester United. If you think this is actually going to happen at all, I think there is a world where towards the end of the window, one was on. I agree with you. Let's slightly move it over. We'll leave it here for now. But yeah, I'm surprised that more movement hasn't taken place. Anyway, we're going to leave it as it is because, as you see across the episode, some of these names will come into play once more. We're going to start quickly. We haven't got a card for this because this is a confirmed transfer that's just happened. Jeremy Doku to City. Well, it's got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano.
Chat about it a little bit. So if anything, if we could put it on the board, I would have it over, here-ish. Like, I like the move. Obviously, after losing Riyad Mahrez, they need somebody out on that right wing. They have players that can go and do that position. We've spoken over the last week or so about Phil Foden and whether he'll be getting a lot of minutes this season, how it's looking, especially with KDB's injury now. I think the midfield looks like the right place for him. They were linked to Lucas Paqueta as well, who would have been taking minutes from Phil Foden. That now looks like that might be dropping off. And I think Jeremy Doku is a really fun player for Man City to have. Not quite the Pep Guardiola winger that I would have expected him to have been after. Somebody that's a little bit more individualistic, if that's a word, rather than somebody that's kind of doing more of what I guess Pep wants them to do his exact way. But maybe that's what Pep wants to add to his side, to have something different towards this season.
He just wants someone to go in there who's got a bit of wild card factor. Just because basically Doku, his creative numbers are immense for Rennes. His dribbles, take-ons, carries into the penalty area, all that kind of stuff. That is where he explodes. They call him the Belgian Flash, which I quite like, as a nickname. I agree with you though. Like tactically, it's going to take a lot for him to go from playing for Rennes to play for City. So I'd maybe have it for 60 million. I'm not going to lie. When I saw 60 million euro fee, my jaw dropped. I thought that is a mental fee for someone who scored like 6 goals, 2 assists last year. Okay, in limited minutes.
Could cost you a Cucurella.
Could cost you a Cucurella, yeah. Well, let's not. I think we should stop using Chelsea as like a parameter for transfer fees. Honestly, mental.
I think overall, though, good move. I think City fans will be excited. I'm just interested to see how many minutes he'll actually get this season. But Pep does stuff every year that we think he won't do and then surprises us, and it turns out to be the right decision. So I think it probably end up being a decent move.
I agree with you. One Belgian to another, because we're going to kick off the show in a big, big way with Divock Origi.
Wow. Every transfer window, I think we're done with Divock Origi. We don't need to talk about him. Last year, it was all about his move to AC Milan, and there was a certain somebody in this room right now, maybe to my right, to your left, who said about how he thought this move was fantastic. Origi was going to be the star striker for AC Milan, to lead the line up front in this new aged Milan side. Obviously, they had Giroud, they had Zlatan. Zlatan's now retired. They've still got Giroud. Giroud actually scored on the weekend. Great little link-up play with Christian Pulisic. And Origi, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, he was completely dropped from that game against Bologna. 2 goals last year in all competitions. Really sad.
Why do you think it didn't work out for him?
I just think he just adopted the same role as before.
Yeah.
I should say that Milan had a tough first half of the season last year, and I think he got caught up in the negativity of that. But Giroud's just a great striker. Yeah. He's just a great striker, and I think he was just going to stay ahead of him. And if you look at him again, it was still bit part player, 10 starts, a lot of appearances off the bench.
He wouldn't be that at Sheffield United.
Well, this is the thing. This comes in from reluctant Nico, this transfer rumour, and that's that Sheffield United are exploring a loan deal for Divock Origi next season. Obviously lost Iliman and Dye. How would you say Sheffield United have looked in their opening few games? I think they've looked okay. They've not looked terrible.
Okay. I think the tough thing for them is they are in a market where they don't have a lot of money to spend. They're having to do some quite smart deals, and this to me would be one smart deal to get a striker in. They've lost a lot of key players from them last year. You've obviously mentioned one, Sander Berg, another one who actually joined kind of like a position rival, I guess, in the Premier League in Burnley. Though his case was, I think they kind of said to him either sign a new deal or leave. And he left, and the fee they got him for was half decent.
Where are you going to put Divock Origi to Sheffield United on the rumour mill?
I mean, it's not one that I think is going to be lightning up here, to be quite honest. They do need some more names up top, that's for sure. So I'm not kind of towards this region. It's whether he's willing to also have a season. He's gone from a Liverpool side to an AC Milan side, battling at the top of the table. Is he now willing to have a season down below where he might not be getting the service that he wants? So I think I know we don't like crossing the board.
You can do it if you want, Zach. I'll give you permission.
That's where I would be. I actually kind of bang in the middle of that.
It also depends if Sheffield United can pay his wages. I know they could probably pay a bit of it, but he's going to be on a lot of money at AC Milan. Certainly not the money that
Sheffield United are paying.
Existing. They got in that Benny Traore guy up front, who I think is going to take a bit of time to come from Sweden to the top division. Isn't easy. But also I saw they're linked with Cameron Archer of Aston Villa. Apparently they bid 10 million, and Aston Villa basically said 20 million. If that happened, I'd be having that around here. I think 20 million for him would be an absolute snip.
Very exciting forwards. But only time we'll see, and we don't have a magnet for Cameron Archer.
We don't. So. But anyway, Origi or Archer, Blades fans, let us know where your opinions lie on that. Right, we are going next to another guy that we've already got on the board, and that's Folarin Balogun. That's because Chelsea are now rumoured to be interested in him. I think Pochettino's come out and basically said, yes, they need another forward. Lukaku, that we'll get on into in a bit. No way back, to the looks of it, in that Chelsea side. Balogun, though, no, considering Chelsea just seems to be able to spend any money whenever they want, 50 million.
It's not going to be 50 million.
You don't think it's going to be 50 million?
I think if Arsenal are transferring Balogun to this club or this club, he's going to be costing more than 50 million. I think it's 50 million for maybe a Monaco or 50 million euros to a Monaco. I think to a Chelsea, they know that this is a rival. They'll be wanting a lot more money, and if anything, they might be wanting to try and get as close to that Havertz fee as they possibly can.
Wow.
So I don't think Jackson's been. I think Jackson's actually been pretty good since the start of the season. I really do. I know he hasn't got a goal or anything, but I think he's been very strong. Very good start to the season. Love these balls. He's constantly making these runs in behind. So I think he's had a good year or good start. Sorry. Broja is on his way back. Nkunku can play in that position.
Oh, he's gone for a bit.
He's gone for 3 months, but I don't think 3 months of him being gone should mean that we go get Folarin Balogun.
So yeah. Chelsea, Zach, where do you think that Balogun to Chelsea would go? Because
I do like the move. He's an exciting young striker, that's for sure. He's an exciting young striker who's got bags of potential. But do I think it's over here? No, I think it's more like. To be honest, I think it's this.
So you love it.
So I think there's probably more chance. I think there's probably more chance of it happening than the Spurs by the looks of the reports that apparently we have engaged in conversations. Danny
off camera is a Spurs fan, and he seemed to say there was no chance that Arsenal would sell to Spurs. Can I confirm that? Is that true?
You can confirm.
That is confirmed.
Yeah, definitely. But I think there's more chance that they'd sell to Chelsea, but not much more chance.
I agree.
And I think for that. Sorry, I don't mean to be breaking the board, but I think for that, it's like there.
You've made a really lovely kind of step motion.
Diagonal. I have indeed. But
so yeah, you know what? I think it would be an interesting signing. I just think for another £50 million, it's just.
What does it mean for Jackson? What does it mean for Broja? What does it mean for the next striker that's being bought through?
Slightly baffling. Also saw links with Brendan Johnson. Do you like those? There we go. That's it. All right. Next up, we're going to go to Liverpool. And this is actually a very interesting one because according to Sky Sports, Bayern Munich are no longer ruling out the possibility of selling Ryan Gravenberch this summer. Manchester United and Liverpool have been linked with him. And you know what? It's an interesting one for me, this, because he is obviously a talented player. Came through that Ajax youth system. You can't deny sort of the credibility there. He just got no minutes last year, like 550 in the league, was completely left on the bench for the Werder Bremen game where Harry Kane scored his first goal. Come on, saw Danny again behind the camera, upset by that one. But I just think Gravenberch, he would be a fun signing for Liverpool.
He would be. I remember I saw a stat earlier where somebody said that Gravenberch was at, obviously, Bayern Munich for the whole season last year and still played less minutes than Sabitzer, who was on loan at United for half the year. He's really had a rough time. I remember at the end of last season, he came out and said, look, I need to have a conversation with Tuchel and basically find out whether I'm going to be getting minutes this year. And if not, I'd like to probably make the decision to move on. And I think that's a very brave way to look at that. Obviously, it's a tough point in his career right now. He thought he'd make this move to Bayern Munich and thought this was the greatest thing, the best step already. And unfortunately, it's not quite worked out that way. To Liverpool, he's also been linked to Manchester United.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool's focus, I know they've obviously just got Endo in, but their focus should be as well on a future-proof DM too, to maybe help with Bajcetic as well. And he's not a DM. He's not a DM whatsoever.
His defensive numbers are good. He is an all-round midfielder.
They're fine.
He's an all-round midfielder.
But he's not an out-and-out defensive midfielder, which I think that is the kind of main focus they should have as well towards the future. Would getting him in on a permanent be great? Yes. A loan, I think that's also what's being spoken about as well at the moment, not so good. So I think that also depends on a few things. And what we're going to determine this on, a permanent or a loan?
I think it'd be permanent because according to the Mirror, Bayern want £22 million to sell him.
Okay,
which
that
isn't
changes
a bad
things.
fee at all.
That changes things because obviously they've got McAllister in at the moment. Who else is in their midfield that I'm forgetting right now?
So they've got Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and then we've seen Cody Gakpo playing there at the moment.
So I think if it's a permanent for that fee, it's like here.
Do you think it's really nailed on though?
I don't think it's as nailed on. So I think I'd be going up to...
Listen, let's move Dean Henderson up because it does look like he's inevitably going to join at some point.
I think I'd be going around this front. Like a midfield, right? If Liverpool started the season... Oh, sorry, not started the season. End the transfer window with a midfield three of Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch and McAllister. I mean, McAllister's then going to have to be doing a lot of defensive work, or maybe it's Endo and Szoboszlai's onto the wing, whatever it might be. That's a really interesting midfield that could work out. It might take a little bit of time, but that is a midfield that could be really fun.
Considering they're about to spend 111 million on Caicedo, to get Endo and Gravenberch for 40 million, I know it's not lighting up the hearts and minds of fans everywhere. I still think that's pretty sensible.
And honestly, I think after a solid season where he's getting lots of minutes, I think he becomes a midfielder that's worth 70 million.
Yeah, I agree.
Very easily. It would not surprise me if we sat here in a year's time being like, wow, what a steal that would be for Liverpool if they got him for that.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. Anyway, let's wait and see on this one. I definitely think Gravenberch is going to go somewhere. Will it be Liverpool? It would make sense for that to happen. Right, let's go to someone that used to feature on the rumour mill in a different kit. That's Mohamed Kudus. Because we thought he was going to Brighton. That move seemingly completely
40
collapsed.
million, looks like that.
40 million. Now West Ham have come in for him. And here's the sticking point. According to David Ornstein, West Ham are desperately trying to negotiate with him. Foot Mercato claimed that they've offered 41 million. They want 47 million. They are looking to try and find a compromise. I think they should. I think they should try and get this one over the line.
I'm already looking towards like the up here side of things for how much I'd like this move. For how nailed on it is, I think obviously there's a lot of question marks. This is a transfer, as you mentioned, that has been linked to Arsenal, linked to Chelsea. Looked like he was nailed on to be going to Brighton at one point, which would have been a fantastic move for him as well. Goodness gracious. I like the fact that if he came in, it could allow Bowen to play through the middle if they wanted him to do that. He can also play through the middle himself, can play in midfield. I'd be interested to see how David Moyes used him, or uses him. But that's a question for a later date. But in terms of the actual move in general and from a West Ham point of view, you'd be up here for loving it. I really do. How nailed on it is?
I think it's pretty nailed on. It's been reported by big people.
I think we'll go towards here. Yeah. Once Ornstein's on the case, it normally does feel like it's heading that way, doesn't it?
I think you know what, this kind of move with West Ham could go either way. It could either have like the Dimitri Payet, it could be that showstopper, someone that really stands out. Or we could see more like Scamacca where, because we've seen that he's gone back to, he was trying to get Maguire, he's got James Ward-Prowse, he's trying to get more kind of proven, robust players, and Kudus isn't necessarily that. However, 11 goals last year for Ajax. If they can get him through the door, Fornals looks like he's on his way to Sevilla for about 6 million, which I think is a really good fee.
No, it
for
is.
Sevilla
Honestly, I think any player for less than 10 mil, they've got to be pretty bad for it not to be worth it nowadays.
I know, exactly. I think Fornals is a pretty solid offering, although Kudus is a step up in many ways. So we do really like that.
Yeah, I just wonder from his point of view where like the agent was like, hey, I've got Brighton and West Ham, which one are you going for? And I feel like from a player right now who is up and coming and exciting, I feel like Brighton's the place you want to go, but maybe he looks at it and goes, I'm not going to get in over Matoma. Like the right wing, I guess is somewhere he can make his own. He's not going to get in over Ferguson or Welbeck or in Cisco or in Ciso. But yeah, interesting, very interesting.
Interesting. Well, yeah, they got Edson Alvarez. Looks like Kudus could be following too. All right, final one. He's back. It's Romelu Lukaku, and this time to Tottenham Hotspur.
Head is smaller.
Head smaller than we've got him on the Juventus one. I think that's fair enough, considering the tough summer he's had, that his head's had to deflate a little bit. Yeah, listen, this comes in from... There's been rumblings for a while now that Tottenham are potentially looking at Romelu Lukaku. We saw Sonny talk Spurs unamused by this as a perspective.
He'll be watching.
I mean, this guy's had such a rough time. I think Inter CEO Pepe Morata called him
Not
a
for
huge disappointment.
It's his own fault. The guy had a move to Inter Milan nailed on this summer, and he went and screwed it over himself. Like,
he did.
So, like, to be honest, this might...
Well, this is the thing. The fans do not want this to happen to Juventus.
Yeah.
Apparently, he still thinks that they've got like an arrangement and agreement in place. I would definitely move it down a bit to Tottenham. And this is the deal with Tottenham. According to the reports that I've been reading, according to the rumour mill, Tottenham want a younger guy. If they're going to buy a forward, they want to get a younger guy, a Balogun, a Jonathan David.
Yeah.
They'd rather spend the money that they've got from the Kane deal on that. And if that doesn't materialise, then I think they'd look at Lukaku as a stopgap to one of these players. Yeah. I don't mind it as a forward. I don't mind him. I think he's a good striker. He's a good striker.
When he's fit. Sure, he's not been fit in a few years now.
Come on, he scored a lot. He scored 90 goals over the past 4 campaigns.
And how many of them have been in the last 2 seasons?
Oh, he scored 14 last season. Then he was up to like 20 the season before that with Inter. He gets disrespected as a player. I'm not saying.
I think for Spurs right now, I think that is the right idea. Go for someone like Jonathan David. Go for someone like Balogun, who is younger. I think there are still question marks over the Richarlison and how he's doing at the moment with playing up top now as a sole striker for Spurs. So I can understand wanting to get someone in. I can understand after that as well being like, okay, let's get the stopgap. How much is that stopgap going to cost you? The last time Chelsea and Spurs did a deal for a fee was a long time ago. William Gallas and so on and so forth. It never quite worked out.
But they need to get him off the book. He doesn't even have a squad number.
Don't get me wrong. Need to get him off the books 100%. I think if Chelsea, I'd just be very shocked. I think if this is what Spurs came towards this decision. And I probably like it more than him going to Inter because Spurs do just need a striker.
It does look like a nice space on the Lukaku board, you know. Okay, we'll move Paqueta there.
The board's going to have some overlapping one day, lads. We're going to have enough transfers on here where there's going to be some overlapping.
I'm going to move it up. I don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be. Okay, I'd rather he went. I think he's more important for Spurs, considering they only have Richarlison, than Conor Gallagher would be for West Ham. I think the midfield signings they've made, I think I'd rather see Lukaku at Tottenham than that. But
I don't think Spurs fans would. I really don't.
Oh.
But let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know what you think in the comments below because, I mean, one thing I guess from a player perspective, like he just needs to sort something out.
He just needs something.
Just to have, like he's what, 31 now, 30, 31? He needs to sort out these like next 5 years of his career. It's just somewhere where he can build a fan base again.
The Inter CEO was trolling him saying he doesn't even know where he's going to play next year. He's got nowhere else to go. I've never seen a situation quite like this where a world-class player has put himself in a corner where he can't seem to get out. But yeah, Spurs fans, who is in for Lukaku? Who's out for him? Please let us know in the comments, as Zach pointed out. I think that's it for the rumour mill today. I think all steps lead to Maguire on the left-hand side. Bit of movement here. A lot more less nailed on, a lot more kind of clickbait titles than normal. But yes, let us know what you think of Transfer Talk. We'll be back next week. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit the like button, please, if you want to see more Transfer Talk. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
What was that? Please.